emphasise and talk about that we are on a journey here, so we're examining all 4 different levels of stockmanship, and so those are briefly: level 1 is humane livestock handling, which is yard design, Temple Grandin inspired work. Level 2 is low stress stock handling, inspired by Bud Williams. Today and yesterday has been about going to level 3, the high performance of stress-free stockmanship levels and competencies, and then level 4 is self-herding and animal behaviour modification. So all of that describes a whole journey of where you can take animals, and this can be as little or as much as you really want. And so that's the wonderful thing. We're leaving it in the hands of everybody here to not throw out any of the tools or your prior experience, but to add further layers on and possibilities to get the things that we need, and then influence the animals, not only in the yards behind us, but also in the broad. Everything that we do here interacts out in the paddock, everything we do in the paddock interacts back in here. And the great positive thing is that animals can change, and if we change the whole game. Stayed in the same position, but she went like that.
But how did she get down there?
Oh right, she walked. Oh, I wasn't exactly watching her. Yeah. Yeah, or just do nothing, because we've got a great helping us. Let them bring the momentum. And understandably, when you're first practicing them, you go to practice with the players, more anxious. So if we had a radio to her at the moment, we'd say, right, you're the back person, and this is a general advice for all the rest of the team. If you're the back person, please do make something happen. Yeah, if you like, because if we don't have animal movement, then we're not doing anything. This is really all just slowing down, and we're not learning anything. So when you're the back person today, we're going to just keep on upping the ante a little bit, because if the zones of the animals keep shrinking. We've got to chip him for cheating, for getting over not allowed to do that today. No, you've got to be lazy. And it's a bit of fun. If you feel like getting over a fence, you can get over a fence. But it's a real life thing in that we don't always get to choose, do we, about what's the best angle. The optimum angle might be, we've got a fence, or how do we go about getting what we want without having to get over. Wanting to, we've got the human magnet coming up there, anxiousness of, I want to stop them going up there, or I need to get them, rather than I need to slow up there. Turned around. You can just let them go up there, and the rest of you watch what they do as a team with their tee, to just let that happen. Let's see how that goes. And of course, Curly, if you were backing off even further, watch as that happens even faster. Yeah? Isn't that interesting? Because the pressure didn't have to come from the right hand side. By releasing on this left hand side, that then allowed it to come. Excellent work, team. We're going to do a shift to another team change, please. Which you can compliment him on his paddock line dancing skills. That's good. So we'll see what difference that makes, because if we had a radio to Kylie there at the moment, bang, look at that, wasn't that huge? You see that? Kylie just changed positioning there now because he's been quite clear about do not go forward through that gate. So big tick there, isn't it? Really excellent. So now he's going backwards. This is great. Try and get him over. Doing exactly as you would want. But now he's completely opened the door for movement to come inside, isn't it? So yep, Ruben's going on the outside, but that's really great demo. Have a look at where the animals are going to start to revolt. If Ruben's unhappy, so we've got a larger T theme between the two handlers, but also then the mini T's that we're throwing off into those animals. So it'd be very easy for either one of us as the handlers to be in a T with our other handler, right? But actually be sending pressure waves quite different than what the generalised T is showing. That makes sense? That you've largely got to be working in a T, roughly square, because that's what the animals will react at. And have a look at how strongly they're reacting to that very generalised movement. We'll see over here, so here on this side, right, if there's any there, bang, T has changed, but hasn't that been picked up easily? Okay? And we're just going to go for another minute or so here, team, but we're not going to force them into that yard. We're going to stop one step short of that, because we're jumping the rails here. If the horse is refusing to jump there at the moment, even with a little bit of if you like, dig up the ribs, right, well, we're going to just change to go to something else, because they'll soon go there. Right? And if we pick Courtney's corner in that other yard down there before, that proves the point, doesn't it? They didn't go there the first time. If you made the judgment and said, oh no, the sheep don't.
The next corner. So don't get hooked up on the task, if that makes sense. Because you can take them around for another look. Yeah, he's clearly in there with the guys there. We're trying to get the result in this corner where we're putting that in the unit. In the corner where the sheep haven't actually shown that they're happy to arrive to even get to above. We over-emphasising this in this corner. They're not going to have yeah. We're already priming up the failure for the next point. So I'm trying to encourage them to say, yeah, do take them there, but if that's not happening at the moment, that's not good. It's easy to do that jump at the moment. It's not a failure at all, is it? You know, because I know you're not quite ready for that. Right? If there's something like that, I'll try and sneak that over. But if you're happy with your placement, remember it's only 5 seconds that you hold and then go on to the next corner, please. We're going to see now the interesting situation is that this upcoming corner, as they go through, the guys need to prevent the animals from taking that choice to come here, and how best can you...
that's what I'm doing. You know, all of this is going. You know, if I'm doing it this way, I've got the arm, haven't I? You know, so I'm still showing the same thing. So I'm going over the top of the side to the first. She's done it. Watch what starts to happen. It's easy for the curl to occur, and this is a great spot to watch in action. There's a T happening for you where the turn starts to happen. And here also is the emphasis of, well, if we didn't feel that we were in control of the speed much, or thought we could quickly get it back in control, then we wouldn't feel confident about doing a T. Now, watch what's happening here in the centre. They've been asked to do that hard turn, and that's going to not assist it. I'm seeing here at the moment that happening, and now this happening.
Learning the pressure waves and how that projects forwards of how we're, you know, facing and doing that, and also how we can move the sheep around the yards without forcing them to, and making them make their own choices of moving around without the pressure and the stress. Yeah, one thing, when we first run these sheep behind us into the yards, they were a bit flighty. They, you know, just used to the usual method of running through the yards flat out 100 mile an hour, and with paralleling them through the gateways and through the yards, quietening them down, and using that to teach them, you know, how you project forward pressure and into a high pressure zone, and so they run into a low pressure zone. We've managed to quieten them down into sheep that are nearly pets. Yeah, so what we wanted to do, the course, was just to try and learn some more about low stress stock handling, and not having to work as hard in the yards, running, jumping, screaming, kicking, yelling, all that type of stuff. And doing this, you can see that it actually really works, and you know, just doing slight movements, slow walking, no running, no jumping, no kicking, no swearing, nothing like that. So yeah, it's a huge difference. You wouldn't think it works, but it does. So, right?
It's fantastic. The team have been doing really well. I want to thank the Solly family for having us here, and also Living Flinders project for allowing and funding this to happen. And so it's really great passion of all of us is our interaction with livestock and the landscape, and it's a reason for all of us to be out here.
That